Good morning. Here we are, another daily dose. I'm going to say something pretty obvious. This year has been challenging. Let me say it again, man. For most people, this year has been challenging. So I don't know about you. It's easy to feel out of control right now. It's easy to feel like overwhelmed. And then when we find ourselves in the middle of a storm, in the middle of the battle, when we find ourselves in danger, under attack, when things are spinning out of control all around us, like it is, man, it's crazy, right? The tendency in the middle of all this is to run away. It's to retreat. But is that the right answer? Is that what we're supposed to do? It's not. Rather, we got to do something. It's a three-letter word here. We got to cry, C-R-Y. What should we be doing right now? We should be crying. Say what? I just told you when things are falling apart, we should be crying. It's time to start crying. Let me tell you what I mean by that. It's time to start crying out to the living and powerful God of all creation. It's time to stop leaning on our own understanding and our own strength and our own ideas, our own strategies, our own government, our own education system. No, it's time to trust in the Lord and His ability to deliver us. It's time to allow the battle to be the Lord's. This is when we find the victory. This is when we find our prayers answered. All right, check out the truth. We find it in 1 Chronicles chapter 5. 1 Chronicles 5, a little backstory. Judah and Israel, they entered into battle against these dudes called the Hagrites and all their allies. But check out what happened. We're going to pick it up in verse 20. Verse 20, they, meaning Judah and Israel, they were helped in fighting them. And God handed these dudes, the Hagrites and all their allies, over to them. Why? Because they cried out to Him during the battle. Did you hear that? God showed up because His people cried out to Him during the battle. He answered their prayers because they trusted in Him, and they seized the livestock of the Hagrites, 50,000 camels, 250,000 sheep, and 2,000 donkeys. They also took 100,000 people captive, and many others fell slain because the battle was God's, and they occupied the land until the exile. Come on now. Did you see what just happened? Did you see what happened and how and why it happened? Come on. God gave His people the victory. Not because they were the strongest or the smartest. Not because they were the most prepared. Rather, God gave His people the victory because they cried out to Him during the battle. They didn't run away. They cried out to the living God during the battle. The Israelites prayed. That's the point here. In the middle of the craziness and danger and things swirling around, the people of God prayed. They asked God for help. They recognized their lack. Man, they recognized they didn't have what it takes. And so they asked God, show up and help, God. Show up and help. Philippians 4:6 tells us, don't be anxious, worried about anything, but in every situation, all occasions, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. In other words, in the middle of all the craziness going on around us right now, don't fear, don't worry. Instead, cry out to God. Pray. Pray. That's what we're supposed to do. Cry out to the living God. There's a lot of junk swirling around right now. Doesn't feel like it's slowing down either. Maybe just it's even speeding up. And the place to start and the place to remain as we battle against all the crazy darkness out there, stuff like human trafficking, pornography, abortion, racism, humanism, Marxism, all the different forms of darkness, the way to respond to it and the way to keep responding is in the place of prayer. Crying out to God, interceding, coming together, unified as the house of prayer, being that royal priesthood. This is the place of crying out to God, the place of prayer, corporate prayer. This is the place where we release the power of God. The craziness of the world needs to encounter the power of God. Let's come together. Let's cry out. Let's pray. See, this is where the battle against the spiritual forces of darkness are identified and pushed back. And you know I'm a huge fan, I'm a huge proponent of taking action, of getting in there and getting busy with engaging the culture in real ways, speaking out. I'm called to that. But these important actions are never a replacement for prayer. Here's what prayer is, though. Prayer is that air cover that makes all of our other actions, all of our other efforts truly effective. Without prayer, it's just us, man. Without prayer, it's just our weak human effort. But with prayer, it's like launching the full force of heaven right behind us. I mean, come on now. Remember, with God, all things are possible. All things. I want to leave you with Jeremiah 29, verse 12. You ready for this? Then you will call on me, you will come and pray. Then you will cry out to me, you'll come and pray, and I will listen to you. That's a mind blower. God said he'll listen to us when we cry out to him. Amazing promise. So here's the question. What are you waiting for? Start crying. God bless you. God bless you. We will see you tomorrow morning for another Daily Dose.